I would like our Maulana to recite some verses from the Quran.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم هو الله الخالق المالك المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله عما يشركون هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم.
Every single time when you hear the verses of the Quran, it brings so much peace and blessing for every single person that listens to it. And those of us who are blessed by the fact that we belong to a certain extent to the Islamic community, every time you hear that, I hope that your heart is fulfilled. Can I just say this evening is an evening where every single one of you should be extremely proud. And I'm hoping that the little time that we're going to spend showing you for the next hour or so why you've come this evening, what was the purpose, was there a reason, why you bought your tickets, and what you're going to do when you finish eating and so on, and how you're going to spread the word. I can honestly and say to you that you should leave this place saying, do you know what? Every single thing I have done tonight, I feel very proud of. Please put your hands together for Muhammad Ayub.
Thank everybody here, and especially my guests who have traveled so far, Lord Nazir, all the way from Rotherham or wherever he was earlier today, Dr. Zedu Khan from Streatham, and George Fulton. He has come all the way from the Wirral, and thank you very much to him especially. And I would like to thank all the people for coming here tonight to make this occasion a wonderful occasion. I hope you will enjoy this evening, the food, the entertainment in the form of speeches, and the other entertainment, the musical entertainment afterwards. I would also like to take this opportunity of thanking my young team of trustees who have made this evening possible. Especially you will see the videos they have created from some footage which I had taken from Pakistan near one of the projects that we are embarked upon. Thank you.
And by the way, on the housekeeping, I've got a couple of other things. And that is that anyone not smiling, not enjoying themselves, not really saying and laughing at the jokes that are going to be happening tonight, whether they are intentional or otherwise, will be escorted outside and spoken to. Okay? So let's have you smiling and let's have you enjoying yourself. Who better to, isn't it fantastic, to pass your reign on? The founder, Muhammad Ayub, thinks of an idea, way to do something, raise money. But then his offspring, his children, take up the position of taking this further. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to welcome, with big round of applause, his son, Hamad Ayub, who will give you just wait. See, that's very good, it's very good, we're getting there. Okay? I forgot my trend there, but that doesn't matter. I want you to put your hands together for somebody who's going to give you an insight and the background of the whole project itself. Now you may applaud. Hamad Ayub, ladies and gentlemen.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm a bit tall for this. Assalamu alaikum. I'm just going to be spending a few minutes talking about the foundation, how it started, what we've done so far, what we still need to do, and most importantly, why we need your help. Our foundation was officially started in May 2010, but the inception goes back all the way to 2004, when my late grandfather, the late Amir Zaman, passed away. The majority of you here tonight probably knew him at some point in your lives. After his military service in the Second World War, he brought his family over from Pakistan to High Wycombe, and we've lived there ever since. Now, my dad and his brother, they wanted to create some kind of memorial for him. And so they thought of all the things that they could have missed since they came over here. The two things that they may not have had they stayed in Pakistan, they believe, were education and healthcare. They believe that healthcare is the #1 limiting factor in the development of Pakistan. 1 in 5 children will be buried before their 5th birthday. 1 in 5 children. Think about that for a second. Of the 10 people on your table, it would mean the person seated either side of you wouldn't be here today. Now, Pakistan has more problems than just healthcare. There's crime and corruption, there's tyranny and terrorism, which further have increased the effects of the natural disasters. The earthquake in Kashmir, the more recent floods that have displaced over 20 million people from their homes, which further escalated disease and poverty. Poverty which is rife nowhere more so than in rural areas. Due to the costs associated to travelling to a city, let alone for a consultation or medications, people often forego visiting a doctor. They either ignore the illness or receive alternative treatments. These include self-medication, whereby one can get medicine without a doctor's note, or visiting an alternative unqualified profession. This is whereby an unqualified person claims to be a doctor after shadowing a healthcare professional for only 1 week. It's due to the lack of income, health education, and legislation by the government that it's rare to see a qualified and regulated professional in rural areas of Pakistan. Because of this, simple treatments to potentially life-threatening illnesses cannot be administered. The majority of deaths in rural areas are due to diarrhea, pneumonia, and vaccine-preventable illnesses. All of these can be treated easily or prevented by a healthcare professional. And it's because of this that the founding trustees wanted to focus on healthcare and health education. They wanted to create a memorial that would last for generations to come. And so they went back to where it all started, where my dad was born, in the village of Sukkur, Gujarat, in the north of Pakistan. What started as a small idea between two brothers became bigger and bigger, snowballing into what it is today. A huge project, far beyond what we first envisaged, far beyond what I first envisaged. I thought it would be a relative walk in the park. It's become a lot more hard work than initially thought. The small projects evolved into a primary healthcare facility, a hospital that could serve up to 100,000 people in the nearby towns and villages. 100,000 people. The building itself is over 30,000 square feet in size, over 4 stories, and will contain things such as a birthing centre, emergency stabilisation unit, and capacity for operating theatres. The structure was actually completed in January of last year, and we hope to complete the work by December of this year. So far, the funds have been given from the founding trustees, their family and friends, and generous donations from the local community. So far, approximately, we have raised £350,000. But we still need more. There's still remaining work that needs to be done. At the moment, there still needs to be done the internal finishing, the electrics, the plumbing, as well as fitting the hospital equipment. It's anticipated that we need a further £200,000 to complete this, and another £100,000 of the first year of operating costs. To finish what we started, we need your help. We want to improve the services that we can offer after the first year. We want to involve all of you in our efforts. Not only do we need your funds to help construct the building, but also volunteers. We need volunteers who can offer up their time and services, especially healthcare professionals who would be willing to spend a placement as a visiting doctor. We decided to do something about healthcare because it would mean giving people a chance. Giving people a chance to survive, to develop their lives, to thrive in their local communities, just like we're able to do. Help us make a difference. Help us give them the chance that they need. By being here tonight, you've already shown your desire to help, and hope we can work together for many years to come. Thank you.
You were applauding the film. What were we really applauding? We were applauding a situation which is out of hand. We were applauding because £300,000, £1 million is raised. We think it's a lot. £1 million for 1 million people is £1 per person. For how long? We're putting on something here which you know is just when the building actually goes up. There is no limit to the amount of money that you can actually put together. If you were touched by that film, the word that should have hit your hearts was the fact that it was unaware. Not because there was a percentage linked to the fact there were people dying. That's fact. That's people doing statistics, telling you how many people around the table. There's 4 of you around the table who will not make it for the next day, the situation in Pakistan. You know why? It's because they are unaware. They don't know what's happening to them. And this is why this foundation is so solely put in place, is because then you know those people are going to be helped to say, you have got diabetes, you have got this, you are about to die in about 3 days' time. On your tables there are envelopes. We would like you to put your donations in there. I know that you've actually bought a ticket and that. Is that enough? We want, the trustees will come round. You can put cash things in there. You can put credit details in there. You can text us. You can do all of that. And what I would like you to do now is when you are thinking along there and you've reflected and you've been hurt, you've been not hurt, you've been touched by that stories and those things. There will be an advert later on which will go out, I believe, on TV and so on, hoping the fact that we can raise more money. And I would now like to ask our honorary guest, who's always, you know, every time I know him, it's almost as every time I do an event or just host an event, I see Lord Nazir there. You know why? Because Lord Nazir, you don't have to sort of book an appointment with him. You phone him up and you say, Lord Nazir, we're doing a charity. He said, would you like, oh yeah, I'll be there, yaar. And you know what? He's got to go because he's got a prior engagement. And all I can say is, I hope that you will put your hands together with the greatest of thanks when he arrives to do his speech up on stage. Lord Nazir, please.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you very much for that kind introduction. When he said, all you have to do is ask Lord Nazir to come to a charity event, usually people just tell me that there's a nice curry in Slough and then I turn up. And Azmat Welfare Foundation, thank you very much, Ayub Saab and all your family, for the great work that you are doing. And I'm really here to support this project, and I hope that you will be generous. But just to test if people know who I am, some of you probably do, others probably don't, because people know they're members of parliament, but they don't know members of the House of Lords. And that's what happened a few weeks ago when we asked one of our famous baronesses to go over to the hospital across road from the House of Lords, St. Thomas's. And so a famous baroness, Baroness Thatcher, was asked to go and speak to people and to tell them who she was. She went round to a ward and visited some ladies and said, hello, how are you? And the lady said, I'm fine. And then Lady Thatcher thought that this woman may have recognized her, and she said, do you know who I am? And the lady said, no, but if you go to the reception, they'll tell you who you are. So, and then I've just been to an event which I organized. This is what the National Union of Students, Pakistani students and alumni. And I was just testing them to see whether they were awake. And I said, how many people are Punjabis here? Is there many Punjabis here? Gujar Khan is Punjab. Okay, British Punjabis then. So a Punjabi goes to Texas. George, a Punjabi goes to Texas and he meets with this American, and the American guy says, what do you do? And the Punjabi says, I'm a farmer. And so the Punjabi asked this American, what do you do? He said, I'm a farmer too. So he said, the American says, well, how big is your farm? And he said, well, you know, from here to the road over there where this building starts, he said, from that tree, can you see it? It's as long as that. And he said, how wide is it? He said, you know, about half the size of this area. So then the Punjabi asked the Texan guy, he said, how big is your farm? And the American guy said, you know, I get up in the morning, I get in my car, I drive for 2 hours, and then I get to the other side. And the Punjabi says, I know the feeling, I had a car like yours. They'll get full points, right? Because they're laughing. So, and now I've got you in this mood. I want you to be very generous tonight. Because I think all of us know that when we are sick, when we are feeling bad, when we have something wrong with us, we go to the doctors, we go to the hospital, and naturally we expect everything delivered to us. And in this country, thank God, Alhamdulillah, in this country, we have the National Health Service. And we have a great country where we can expect all our services to be delivered. Unfortunately, a great country that we left, a great country that we come from, Pakistan, that has all the natural resources, has all the talents, has gone through huge difficulties. Great people, I go around the world and I see Pakistanis from United States of America to Australia, from Russia to Africa. Wherever I go, I see Pakistanis doing really, really well. Individually, people like Sir Anwar Parvez, who started as a bus driver and then now has billions of pounds of turnover. There are many of you here who are multi-millionaires. And I know today you will be very generous, inshallah. Because Allah has given you this opportunity. कि आपके जो आपकी सिर्फ ये जो दौलत अल्लाह ने दी है, एक बहाना है कि आप इस दौलत को किस तरह इसको आप जो है वो एक नियामत अल्लाह की तरफ से बना सकते हैं. क्योंकि ये दुआ करें कि अल्लाह इस नियामत को ज़हमत से में ना बदल दे. एंड यू नो, हजूर सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने फरमाया, खैरुन्नास मन यनफउन्नास, best amongst mankind is one who brings benefits to others. Those who can give, those who can help, those who look after the others. और पाकिस्तान के अंदर जो आपने फिगर्स देखे हैं, 50% of those children who don't get any medical facilities, things that we take for granted. The infant mortality rate is so high. और यहां पे मेरी बहनें बैठी हुई हैं. पाकिस्तान में तो बहुत सारी हमारी बहनें हैं, मेरी बेटियां हैं, जो जब बच्चा एक्सपेक्ट करती हैं हॉस्पिटल जाने का, तो उनको मौका ही नहीं मिलता. अगर हॉस्पिटल चली भी जाएं, इलाज ही नहीं होता. एंड व्हेन दे डिलीवर, वहां पे बहुत सारी हाई परसेंटेज जो है वो बेचारी फोत हो जाती हैं, क्योंकि उनके लिए मेडिकल फैसिलिटीज नहीं है. सो टुनाइट ये रिफ्लेक्शन का टाइम भी है. खुदा ना करे कि वो टाइम आप पे होता. अगर मैं तो आपको सच्ची बात बताऊं, इफ आई वॉजंट इन दिस ग्रेट कंट्री, मैं भी उन जैसे जो 50% बेचारे जो फोत हो जाते हैं, रियली मैं कोई सिल्वर स्पून लेके यहां पे नहीं आया था. और आप में से भी मुझे पता है कि सारे के सारे यहां पे जो सिल्वर स्पून वाले वो आए नहीं थे, वर्किंग क्लास आए थे. तो अगर अल्लाह ने हम पे रहम किया, अल्लाह ने करम किया कि we've done well because the society that we live in gave us this opportunity that where we are, then I think it's time that we return something back to the country where we come from, where we came from. And in Sukho, where Ayub Saab and his family have, he's coming nearer to me now, I think he wants me to go. I will be going. Give me a minute. Look, okay. In Sukho, the work that they are doing, I think is fantastic and it deserves your support. And that's why tonight, जॉर्ज का पाकिस्तान, जॉर्ज यहाँ पे मौजूद है. मैंने जॉर्ज को कहा कि मेरे T44 एंड अ टूर ऑफ द हाउस ऑफ लॉर्ड्स ऑक्शन होगा, जॉर्ज उसको ऑक्शन करेगा. मैं उम्मीद करता हूं कि आप बहुत सारे पैसे देंगे और फिर इंशाल्लाह मैं आपको हाउस ऑफ लॉर्ड्स भी दिखाऊंगा. आफ्टरनून टी खाली नहीं है, क्रीम केक्स एंड स्कॉन्स एंड एवरीथिंग एल्स आई विल गिव यू. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
Lord Nazir, you never fail to amaze me, how you can string words together, and that's no doubt you're a politician. How you string words together and entertain people at the same time with some powerful words. Ladies and gentlemen, a massive round of applause for Lord Nazir. The next guest of honour that we have, I had great pleasure just making his acquaintance, because this is actually the first time we've met, and obviously that's where the acquaintance is. And I had the pleasure of actually just asking within little 5-10 minutes, and I was briefed by Hamad a little bit of background of what George had done and where he's been. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to steal his thunder, but all I can say to you that the times that he has spent in Pakistan and what he can experience and what he can share with you, only he can tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for George Fulton. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honour to be here this evening for what I'm sure you'll all agree is a very, very worthy cause, the support of the Azmat Welfare Foundation and the hospital they're building in Gujar Khan. Can I first thank Muhammad Ayub Saab and his son Aman Ayub and all the trustees for very kindly inviting me here this evening. And isn't it a wonderful evening, ladies and gentlemen? So far, that is. Because unfortunately, it's all downhill from here. Because you're going to have to listen to me for the next 20 minutes or so. And आज रात मेरी स्पीच अंग्रेजी में होगी क्योंकि मेरी उर्दू बहुत खराब है. So I must apologize for that. And just to let you know how kharab my Urdu is, I was once driving my car in Karachi when this guy on a motorbike cut me up in the middle of the road. And I had to swerve to avoid knocking him down. And I was fuming, I was absolutely spitting blood at the guy's reckless behavior. And I vowed to give him a piece of my mind at the next traffic signal. So as my car sidled up next to his, and we waited by the signal, I kept thinking, I'm going to call him Ulu Kapata. And so that was all that was going through my mind. Ulu Kapata, Ulu Kapata. So by now I was right next to him. I wound down my window with anger etched on my face, and I screamed, Alu Kaparata! I've never seen a look of such bewilderment. It was like, what on earth is this Gorda saying? So that is why tonight I'm not speaking any Urdu. I actually found out I wasn't the first person the trustees approached to speak tonight. Yes, apparently they wanted the former Pakistani cricket captain, Mr. Salman Butt, to speak. The trustees understood he was currently residing here in the UK and sent an invitation to him. Sadly, he was unable to attend. I believe he's otherwise engaged. Let me begin by telling you a bit about my connection to Pakistan. I went to Pakistan in 2002 and got struck down by a terrible, debilitating disease and didn't come back to the UK until a year ago. This dreadful infection, it attacked my heart, left me weak, dizzy, and disrupted all my senses. I think the Urdu word for this particular disease is mohabbat. But you can refer to it as love. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, in 2002, I traveled to Pakistan and I promptly fell in love with the country, its people, and in particular with a certain Pakistani ladki by the name of Kiran. And as you know, love is a very dangerous disease and makes you behave irrationally. So having moved out temporarily for 6 months to produce programs for BBC World, I ended up staying for a further 9 years, joining the burgeoning Pakistan media scene. And in 2005, I made a program called George Ka Pakistan. This was part reality show, part travelogue, and part documentary. The aim of the program was to explore what does it mean to be a Pakistani at the turn of the 21st century. And I had 3 months to become a Pakistani. I threw myself right in. In that time, I traveled all over the land of the pure. I milked the cows and plowed the fields of rural Punjab. I whirled with the dervishes at Seven Sharif. I built Kalashnikovs with Pakhtuns in Daromad and Kale. I fished with Balochis in Gwada. I hung out with high society and the poorest of the poor. I talked to gangsters and prostitutes, and I met with politicians and generals. And I can tell you there's not much difference between the two groups. With current people here accepted, of course. I received during that time I received 6 marriage proposals, of which 2 came from men. And I know, and yes, they did both come from NWFP. Or Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, as we're now meant to call it. I played cricket in Karachi, I wrestled semi-naked men in Lahore, and I took part in kabaddi matches in the middle of a desert. I even rode a donkey by the name of Mercedes in a donkey race. And despite the aspirational name, we came last. So in other words, I experienced all that Pakistan had to offer, from its kaleidoscope of colors and smells and flavors to its wonderful pluralism of ethnicities, religions, and classes. I experienced its yin and its yang, from the frustrations of Bijli shortages and polluted traffic jams to the joys of eating garam garam pakoras with friends in the car after the monsoon rains. I experienced the traits of takalluf, nae ji, o cow, o lijiye, nae, bas, oh beta, come on. And I experienced Safarish. And talking of Safarish, at the end of those 3 months of George Ka Pakistan, Shaukat Aziz, the then Prime Minister, made me a Pakistani citizen after the viewing public had voted overwhelmingly to confer citizenship upon me. And here is my little green passport. So just to say, when I talk about we tonight, I do really mean we. In fact, I am the ultimate British Pakistani. And as for the Tebet cricket test, I have a very simple rule. I support Australia. No. I have a very simple rule. I support whichever team is winning. Like a true Pakistani politician, I'm a complete lota when it comes to cricket. Now, I'm telling you all this hopefully to give you the impression that I understand Pakistani society. Yet throughout all my travels and experiences, there was one area in which I had difficulty in understanding. And that was the importance Pakistanis placed upon religion in society. Pakistan, the Inshallah nation. Everywhere I went, people's faith in God was loudly exclaimed. Not only the aforementioned Inshallah, which usually meant that what was being promised wasn't going to happen, but also Mashallah, Alhamdulillah, Allah Hafiz, Khuda Hafiz. Religion was all around you, is all around you, and in your face. And for me, coming from a secular UK background, this was initially difficult to relate to. But I found it even more difficult to comprehend when seeing the abject poverty that so many people were subjected to. Why were people so religious and such staunch believers in God, yet they had so little? Surely they must feel that God had let them down. But over time, I came to realize that that logic was wrong and needed to be turned ulta sida on its head. The importance of faith for so many Pakistanis was precisely because there was so very little to have faith in. When you can't trust your leaders, your politicians, or your police to look after you and protect you in Pakistan, who else but God is there to turn to? And boy, if you're an ordinary Pakistani, do you need faith when dealing with the biggest crime faced in Pakistan today? This is a crime that makes Salman Butt's misdemeanors seem small in comparison. This crime rarely makes the headlines. I'm not talking about terrorism, murder, or kidnapping here. No, this is far more deadly and kills many thousands more on a daily basis. The victims of this crime do not belong to any one ethnicity, religion, or religious sect, but this crime does favor the very poorest and weakest in Pakistan society. And as I'm sure you all have guessed by now, this crime, the crime of all crimes, if you like, is the lack of good, decent, free healthcare for many millions of Pakistanis. This is criminal negligence on an unprecedented scale. And tonight, every one of you is doing your bit to fight back. So thank you very much. And what is the government of Pakistan doing about all this? Not much is the short answer. Just over 2% of GDP is spent on healthcare. Compare that with almost 10% here in the UK, and you get a picture. Public hospitals are overcrowded, unhygienic, poorly equipped, and understaffed. And that is if one is accessible to you. For many rural communities, there is simply nothing. But we shouldn't just blame incompetent politicians. Officially, over 3% of GDP is spent on the all-powerful military. I say officially, it's likely to be more, we just don't know. And I hope everyone sees the irony here. More money is spent on an institution designed to protect Pakistanis and their country, yet by doing so is depriving those very same Pakistanis of the necessary health care to keep them alive. Pakistanis today are living Bhutto's infamous threat. They are, for all intents and purposes, eating grass in order to make a nuclear bomb. However, it's not just incompetent politicians and greedy generals to blame. We Pakistanis are also partly responsible for the dire healthcare system. Certainly all those who fail to pay tax are partially to blame. Just over 1 million people pay tax in a country of 180 million. 1 million people. To put that into perspective, that's like the taxes of the population of the city of Glasgow, sustaining a population 3 times as large as the UK. You're not going to have good hospitals and schools from that level of tax revenue. Our feudal elite and their farms, which account for about 20% of GDP, are exempt from any income tax at all. They don't pay 1 rupee. So how bad is the healthcare in Pakistan? Now, at this point, I could reel off a lot more statistics, facts and figures for you about the state of healthcare. I could tell you that if you were born in Pakistan, you not only have a life expectancy well below the world average, but a life expectancy below the regional average, according to WHO. And we don't live in a particularly healthy region. Or I could mention the statistics about high mortality ratio, low antenatal care coverage, or that Pakistan is one of the 4 remaining countries with endemic polio and the 6th highest country in the world with TB. I could tell you that almost half the population, especially in rural areas, has no access to safe drinking water, while 22% of households do not have any toilet facilities. But the problem with listing all these statistics is that they don't mean much. We've heard them all before. They go in one ear and out the next. And let's be honest, as we sit here in Baylis House, enjoying this lovely evening, it all seems a different world away. Even when you're in Pakistan, that world of wondering how you're going to feed your family can often seem a different lifetime away. In the flyers for this evening's event, it said that I will share first-hand experience of the rural healthcare issues. Unfortunately, or should that be fortunately, I can't. The truth is, none of us can really. We can share observations and accounts that we've witnessed. I can talk to you about the lack of sanitation and basic healthcare in the small gaons and towns I visited. But I can't share with you tonight my first-hand experience. You see, I, like I suspect most of you, have never had to choose between taking my child to see the doctor or having enough money to buy food for my family. I've never had to worry about the water I drank and whether the very substance that sustains all life could end up costing me my own. And when my wife gave birth in Pakistan, I never had to worry whether she'd be seen by a qualified doctor in a sterile ward. And when my son was born, I never had to worry about getting him a vaccination for polio so he wouldn't have a withered leg for the rest of his life. But unlike 60% of the Pakistani population, I've never had to live on less than $2 a day. Having said all that, one is occasionally forced out of one's bubble that no amount of swanky coffee shops in Zamzamar or Federal Blue area can hide. We may see the SUVs and the mannequins wearing bridal dresses worth 2 lakhs, but we all know there is another Pakistan just a few streets away, a Pakistan always ready to bring us back to reality. My mother-in-law's maid, Sugra, is a wonderful, intelligent woman, always ready with a beaming smile and a shy giggle. She's a constant innovator around the house, who relishes the chance of using the latest brands and gadgets to clean. She is, I'm not joking here, she's like a Punjabi Mary Poppins. Dirty rooms within minutes are miraculously transformed into gleaming spaces. Over the years, she's been a great source of strength for my wife's family. Sugra has always been there for the family, with her smile and sunny disposition in tow. However, one morning that smile had gone. Was she okay? I asked. Saye, George Bhai. She didn't sound convincing. I tried another tact. Ab ka bache, saye. At this point, her face crumpled. It transpired that her son, Ali, had been complaining for a few days of pain in his arm. He was in constant agony. Sugra was dispatched home to collect her son. We took him to a GP who suggested we immediately transport him to a hospital. Over the next 10 days, whilst doctors attempted to diagnose his illness, Ali's condition steadily grew worse, until he was being kept alive by a ventilator, the sole ventilator in the hospital, and that the only reason he had that was because Kiran and myself were throwing our weight around with the hospital staff. Finally, late one night, we received a call from the hospital. Sugra's son, Ali, had died shortly after midnight. According to the death certificate, cause of death was a heart attack. He was only 9 years old. But the cause of death wasn't a heart attack, nor was it the GB syndrome that the doctors had been treating. It was poverty. And Ali isn't the only one. There are hundreds of thousands of Alis dying every year in Pakistan. 1 child in 10 dies before their 5th birthday. To put that in perspective, that's like 40 of you wouldn't be sitting here tonight if you were born in a poor rural family in Pakistan today. But there is good news, because you, ladies and gentlemen, are changing that statistic right here, right now, tonight. We are reversing that. The work of the Azmat Foundation we're supporting here tonight is one small step in attempting to overturn that terrible statistic, to ensure there are more Alis alive to blow out the candles on their birthday cake. The work of Muhammad Ayub Saab and the Azmat Foundation is doing just that at this very moment. The foundation is not just about building a hospital in Gujar Khan, or it's not just about running of that hospital, the beds, the A&E, the lab, the maternity facilities. No, the Azmat Foundation, ladies and gentlemen, is providing so much more than that. It is about giving hope to hundreds and thousands of Alis in the towns and villages of northern Pakistan. Currently, there is not a single free hospital in a 100-kilometer radius of Gujar Khan, where the Azmat Foundation Hospital is being built. Tonight, we are ensuring that is no longer the case. It will be providing free health care at the point of delivery for those communities that do not have any health care at the moment. That is truly amazing. It was exactly a year ago this week that I returned to the UK after 9 years in Pakistan. There is not a day that goes by when I don't miss the intoxicating place. But what I miss the most is the sense of shared belonging that you can only get in Pakistan, that we were all somehow interconnected with one another. And yet, after a long time, tonight, I am reminded of that connection, that shared belonging, that shared interconnection, that shared community. As I say, tonight is not just about raising money for bricks and mortar, medicines and doctors. It's about restoring people's hope. It's about keeping people's faith alive, reminding our fellow Pakistanis that we care, even if the politicians and leaders don't. Let's step up together. I look forward to your support for this remarkable charity. Thank you very much.
That, ladies and gentlemen, was just absolutely astonishing. When George and I were actually having a conversation, he said to me, Pervez, how did you manage to be here? What do you do? I said, you know, I was having my tyres changed in High Wycombe. And I said to the person who was doing the tyres, I said, do you know anybody around who can actually certify a photocopy of my passport because I need it? He said, yes, there is actually an office further down there by a gentleman called Muhammad Ayub, and why don't you go down there and just get it done? So I did. And I sat down there, and suddenly, thrown upon me were these men who kind of said, oh, Pervez, we know you from the past, blah, blah, blah. You do this, you do that. Can you do this event that we happen to be doing on this day? I said, do my job first. And I managed, and I said, look, what are you doing and stuff? Within 10, 15 minutes of what they were telling me to do, or asking me to do, my heart just sank, and I said, yes. I said, I'm going to have a tough day at school because school finishes at this time, and I will run and I'll get to the place and I'll do that. As I was sharing that with George, I said to George, how did you manage to get here? I'm sorry about not looking left and right to the people over on that side. It's sort of the way the stage is. I said, George, how did you manage to get here? He said, Aman, Ayub's youngest son, tweeted him. I said, what? Tweeted him? What? Said something? And he said, yes, he just tweeted me and said, I'm doing this and that. I said, do you know Aman from the past? No. So what are we? And I was completely baffled by the fact that he was here because there was a conversation with today's technology. But I said, then what? I thought to myself, well, he said he shared the information that he was doing a charity, and he came here. I am absolutely, and I'm sure you are, totally and completely blown away by the experience of George's life in Pakistan. I can honestly say I have no connection in reality in Pakistan to the experience of what George has had and lived and shared with the people of Pakistan. And the words that he was saying, it was as if he was the trustee, the founder of the actual foundation itself. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what to say to you, but honestly and truly, I want you to stand and give this gentleman a massive round of applause. Can you all please stand and give him a massive round of applause? And the last speech, and our guest of honor is going to speak to you in 5 minutes, and we've been speaking in English. क्या होता है कि पूरी रात जो होती है ना, कि सब लोग जो हैं इंग्लिश में बोलते रहते हैं, सबको समझ आती है, लेकिन होता क्या है कि कुछ ऐसे लोग हैं जो कहते हैं कि यार कुछ अल्फाज जो हैं हम हमारी ज़बान में भी बोल दें, या कि कहते हैं कि पंजाबी विच बोल दे तो बड़ी गल होंदी है नहीं। And my Punjabi and Urdu is not as great. And I'll tell you a fact, George, yours was better. I love the aloo parantha, Joe. I will actually share that with many. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hand together for our last guest of honor. And it's Professor Khan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Namdahu wa nusalli ala Rasulul Kareem. इंतहाई मुअज़्ज़ज़ ख़वातीन व हज़रात, आज की इस पुररौनक महफ़िल में शमूलियत मेरे लिए नहायत खुशी और इफ्तिखार का बायस है। मैं जनाब बिलख़ुसूस मोहम्मद अयूब साहब और बिलअमूम अज़मत वेलफेयर फाउंडेशन का ममनून एहसान हूँ कि उन्होंने मुझे यहाँ आने की दावत दी और आपसे बात करने का मौका फ़राहम किया। आज यहाँ आने का बुनियादी मकसद इस हस्पताल की जो आपने बातें सुनी उनकी गैर मशरूत हमायत और इस सिलसिले में अपनी जो मदद भी आप कर सकें, चाहे वो आप माली मदद करें, चाहे वहाँ जाके काम करें, चाहे वहाँ की हुकूमत से रब्ता कायम करें, चाहे यहाँ से एक्सपर्टीज़ भेज सकें, मैं अपनी तरफ से उसकी पूरी सपोर्ट करता हूँ। ख़वातीन हज़रात, सिर्फ़ एक चीज़ मुझे समझ नहीं आती कि पाकिस्तान आज एक नहायत पुरआशोब दौर से गुज़र रहा है और यकीनी तौर पर जो ज़िक्र हुआ है अभी तक समाजी, माशी, मईशत, सेहत या जितने भी मामलात पाकिस्तान को दरपेश हैं, उसमें लगता मुझे यूँ है जैसे पाकिस्तान को कटहरे में खड़ा कर दिया गया है। एक्सपर्ट्स अभी यही कह रहे हैं कि हम पस्ती की उस दलदल में फंस गए हैं जहाँ से निकलना मुमकिन नहीं है। ख़वातीन व हज़रात, क्या ये पाकिस्तान को मोरल इल्ज़ाम ठहराया जा रहा है या पाकिस्तानियों को मोरल इल्ज़ाम ठहराया जा सकता है? आपने इस बात में डिस्टिंक्शन ज़रूर करनी होगी, क्योंकि पाकिस्तान की तामीर व तरक्की, इसकी खुशहाली, इसकी नेकनामी और अक़वाम आलम में इसके वक़ार को बुलंद करने का काम जो है वो पाकिस्तानियों का है, ज़रूरी नहीं हुकूमत पाकिस्तान का ही हो। हुकूमत पाकिस्तान की कोताहियों को आप क्रिटिसाइज़ कर सकते हैं, लेकिन ये मुमकिन नहीं है कि आप पाकिस्तान को भी, पाकिस्तानियों को क्रिटिसाइज़ करें, इसलिए कि पाकिस्तानी कौन है? मैं और आप हैं। और जिस तरह जॉर्ज ने कहा कि ये भी एक पाकिस्तानी है, जॉर्ज, आई हैव स्पेंट अ फ्यू मोर ईयर्स than you in Pakistan, and I can tell you that we are very happy all the time as Pakistanis to bash Pakistan, but nevertheless we don't do what we are required to do for Pakistan. We never remember our responsibilities. We always want something from Pakistan. That is why Pakistan has not progressed to the extent that it should have progressed, because we always thought that Pakistan is going to give us. You talked about politicians, you talked about generals, you talked about big people and small people. But what have they got? And where they have succeeded or where they have not succeeded is the difference that we have to look into. I think what we have to do is, when we see in Pakistan that we have not made the progress what we have done in the last 50, 60 years, then majority of people I see here are my contemporaries here. And have we actually served Pakistan to the extent that we are sitting here and now saying that nothing is happening in Pakistan and Pakistan is not making progress? Well, we should be ashamed of ourselves, as a matter of fact, at the end of the day, because we have failed Pakistan. Pakistan hasn't failed us, and that is also worth remembering at the end of the day, that we will have to support not only this particular project, but many, many other projects where we can help Pakistan. And I think it's the people of Pakistan now who have to rise up, as a matter of fact. And fortunately, we live in a democracy here in this country where we can speak our own mind. And I think it is your moral and legal responsibility now, ladies and gentlemen, that you should rise to the occasion and simply say, we are going to do everything possible to protect Pakistan, to promote Pakistan, and ensure that Pakistan will become a country which will be remembered. Remember that United Kingdom 150 years ago was in the same position that we are in today. It is around 1,500 years ago, it's 150 years ago. So what we have to do is do something with Pakistan. Now let me give you a baseline. And the baseline, ladies and gentlemen, is quite simply this, that if we start with Azmat Welfare Foundation and their project, and I've already spoken to Muhammad Ayub Sahab and said that it's very easy to make a hospital. Money is immaterial in this particular case. Ayub Sahab, you will get probably 3 times more money than you require. It is how we are going to run this particular establishment in Pakistan. That is where it will be important, and what precisely you are going to provide there. And that is where we have to get together. So ladies and gentlemen, it's not only one evening that we are asking you to donate. It's not only one time, one-off money we are asking you to donate, or I am asking you to donate, but it is what we call in Islam Sadqa Jariyah. You will have to continue with this, and you will have to continue giving us help. And as far as I'm concerned, I'll try my best, whatever my knowledge and expertise here or in Pakistan is, to support this particular project. But I simply want one promise from you. When you go out of this room, think that you have to build Pakistan. It is your responsibility. Wa akhiru da'wana, alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
First of all, I'm delighted to be here because Azmat Foundation are setting up this hospital and in the most needed district in Gujar Khan, but anywhere in Pakistan. You know, we spend a lot of money on NHS and the National Health Service is providing fantastic facilities. We take it for granted that the rest of the world is as fortunate as we are. Infant mortality rate in Pakistan is so high. There are so many other diseases in Pakistan that they don't get any treatment. And so Azmat Foundation, Welfare Foundation, is by setting up this hospital, there are a lot of people from that part of the world who actually live in the United Kingdom. And I'm so happy that Ayub Saab, who's worked here all his life, that he's spending some money and most of his own wealth over there to build this hospital. So I'm delighted to be here and I'm supporting this project. First of all, I want to say thank you to you for covering this event. And thank you for supporting these community events, because it's important for your viewers to see some good work that's being done. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, the best amongst mankind is one who brings benefits to others. In other words, those who come and help charities and even those who go and air them on your TV channel, then obviously these are the best people, and we want to say thank you to you for doing that.
Pakistan has problems with its infrastructure and healthcare in particular, and doesn't have the necessary support from government institutions, and therefore the charitable sector, the NGO world, has to step in. And you know what the Azmat Foundation is doing tonight is commendable and is greatly needed in Pakistan, and especially where it is in northern Pakistan.
It's very deep. I think the problem with Pakistan is the fact that there's not a lot of investment, and the fact that majority of poor people are not able to actually afford medical care. So I think what's happening with Azmat is actually very, very beneficial, and the fact that to have something like this is can only be good for the poor.
This particular charity, number one, there would be people who wouldn't be able to access medical services. So for these particular people, and knowing the localities I do, because I'm from the area, it's absolutely fundamental. It will provide a number of jobs as well. It's something that's going to continue for generations to come, and hopefully people who are here tonight will be able to support it for years and years and years.
I think it plays a huge part. I think for people, especially when we live in England, such a privileged country, we need to take part in it, and we need to give something for developing countries, you know, because we've got so much here. We're so privileged, so we need to help out others.
It's the people. Pakistan for me is the people, and from that emanates the culture, the history, the environment. So yeah, for me it's the people and the pluralistic society that is Pakistan. It's made up of wonderful different mixture of ethnicities, classes, creeds, and religious convictions. So that for me is what Pakistan is.
I think it's my parents' home, and it's part of my heritage, basically, to be honest. Been to Pakistan several times, but for me, primarily, it's what I would kind of call my parents' home. I mean, I am British, but it's part of my heritage.
I have actually quite a few Pakistani friends, and I've gotten to know it, like the people more and more. It's such sociable people, such warm people. So, to be honest, like the culture difference, you don't even realize. They're just such welcoming people. So, yeah.
Pakistani is my heritage. It's where I come from. It's where I'd like to go back to. It's where we go to for holidays. It's a lifeline to us.